I think that this was an appropriate reaction. You know, if the brand doesn't want to uphold the same vision as your business, you should de-affiliate. Go for it. Just gonna go for it, because I don't know what's going on these days. What's up, crew? Welcome to another video. My name is John Connie, aka Big Man Syndrome, and if you're new here, this channel is really just about fitness and lifestyle. So if you're into that sort of thing, consider joining the crew. Now that we got that out of the way, I'm gonna wait until that grabs by. Office Depot. I gotta really close the garage door when I'm recording. So for a quick update as far as Keto 30, everything's going pretty good. Today I fasted again all the way to 2 p.m. Had my breakfast, or I call it B-fast because it's not really breakfast. Well, it is breaking fast, but whatever. Anyways, nuance. After the workout, me and Sarah hit it. It was a pretty simple workout. Not too aggressive, but still felt good to keep it moving. And then I had my post-workout treat, the Reese's, which, looking at the packaging, I really need to consider having something else or making my own, because it is a lot of grams of carbs, and I don't know what the allotment or the allowance is for after a workout. There's a lot of schools of thoughts as far as what carbs do when you haven't worked out versus after a workout, as far as spiking the insulin and such. So whatever. And I was gonna vlog a little bit more today, but then I forgot to record the workout, and part of me thinks it's fine, no worries. Once I realized when I was mid-workout, I was like, shoot, I didn't hit record. I was like, it's fine, because today I wanted to talk about something anyways. That's obviously a hot topic and something that I wanted to put out there, into which I will continue vlogging tomorrow. But anyways, to get to the point, today I wanted to talk about sort of what's been going on, and saying that actually is kind of ridiculous because there's a lot of things going on. There's COVID, there's the protests and everything like that. There's, if you're in the CrossFit world, which is part of the reason why you're probably watching this channel, some stuff going on in there. So, and then there's just, you know, elections, which that by itself is pretty nuts. So what I'm specifically talking about today is going to be the CrossFit piece, which sort of ties into the protests and Black Lives Matter and everything like that. COVID, we kind of already talked about a little bit, and to be honest, I feel like we've gotten over the hump, but just to briefly touch on that, I feel like there's a second wave coming, which I hope it doesn't, because I've said it before, I really need the kids to go back to school, and if it starts to rise again, daily death count, daily case count, I just don't feel comfortable doing it. But specifically talking about what happened with Greg Glassman, and I think I wanted to do two things here. I want to talk about my feelings of towards it, trying to keep my emotions down, because I can typically knee-jerk react to a lot of things, and I'm that type that, you know, feels very emotionally attached, or I feel personally attacked when I read something that I either disagree with or see as potentially harmful for others. And then I want to talk about sort of the overall reaction so far, and kind of what it means for, at least in my opinion, for affiliates and gym go. And then afterwards, I might sort of talk about what's to come as far as the channel, so that we can sort of close this video out. Really quickly, my reaction and my sort of position, I guess, with the whole situation. First of all, as it needs to be said, I do not agree with Greg Glassman whatsoever in this case. For him to, first of all, speak to an affiliate the way he did via email just shows the type of person he is. I think your true colors show when you think you are protected by privacy, and he clearly thought he was not going to be caught here. And then he adds insult to injury by responding with a quip, just disgusting, misplaced, ill-placed. I mean, he can't even place it correctly. Snarky remark back towards another health organization that's saying a certain thing, and he says he takes George Floyd's name in vain and uses it as a jab at somebody, which personally I think was just disgusting, disappointing. Leader of a community that I started CrossFit in 2010, 2011 maybe, and been in it for a while, not as long as many people, but like I've been in it for a while, and the community is incredible. Typically, when you join a CrossFit gym, it's always going to be the best people that you will ever meet in that area. There's typically very few super egotistical people. There's definitely a couple, and I can name a few, but I'm not going to. But for the most part, everyone invites you in. Everyone wants you to succeed. Everyone teaches you all the moves, even though they're not coaches, but they want you to do better. So for this, the person, like the person who created the activity that you love is being a dick, basically. Just trying to one-up somebody and using the most ridiculous way to do so. Do I think it was racist? Do I think he used that because he is racist? No, I don't think that's the case. I think that's a stretch, and I think it's very, very, even his response, and I know I might get shit for this, possibly, his response, or what's being quoted from a Zoom call, which does not strike me as racist either. It's simply him being a dick. And I've seen this throughout my time with CrossFit, right? I don't think Greg is a great person. He doesn't seem like a great person. He seems very egotistical. He seems very always correct or always right on everything. The way he fights with CrossFit or using CrossFit against others, or in the health industry, like both of those two, like the training industry and the health industry, do need that sort of voice pushing at them. But the way he does it is he's just a big bully. So do I think he's racist? I'm not sure, can't say definitively, but those two actions don't point to racism to me. It's obviously a part of what is the systematic racism in America, where a lot of people are just complacent with what is happening. They are comfortable, or they don't really have it in their mind that there's a problem. That's just being complacent with the fact that community is potentially less in some respect, because you don't care that has such an impact to that community. Same way with what he said. He might not be racist, possibly. Like I said, no way to definitively tell. I've never been in conversation with him. I don't know who he is as a person personally, but I think he used that without really truly thinking about the impact that it would have. To sort of close that out, I don't agree with anything that he says. I think that the community as a whole was right in the reaction, which kind of segue into what has happened afterwards and my opinion on that. As soon as I saw the post, I knew things were going to go downhill. I didn't know it was going to go so fast, but I knew that he had finally crossed the line publicly enough to irk an entire community, which is insane to think. Like, CrossFit has so many affiliates across the world, so many athletes, so many events, so many brands that are associated with them. I think when it started to trickle through, you saw responses from athletes, then you saw responses from gym owners saying that they were de-affiliating or have already, and then you had sponsors pulling their sponsorships for the CrossFit Games. That to me shows the power of boycotting. All that happened. Greg Glassman stepped down. Unfortunately, Dave Castro took the role of CEO. I'm pretty sure Greg Glassman still owns CrossFit, which is its own problem. Honestly, to be completely honest, I don't think Dave Castro is much better. That's a ramble. I'm ranting. Let's get back to the topic. So all of that happened within 24 hours. Greg Glassman basically, after the release of his Twitter post, or the viralness of it, he stepped down. I'm gonna reel it in right now because I feel like I just split into 5 different topics when I really wanted to just cover one. If you want my thoughts on the boycotting part, link down below for the Discord channel. I'd love to start discussions down there. It'd be really cool to open up discussions with you guys. So I'll be there. If you send a message, I see it immediately on my computer. Anyways, moving on. So the thing that I wanted to cover as far as what this whole reaction was, I think that a lot of people on potentially the wrong side of all of this, wrong side obviously in my opinion, or those who sort of see this as a knee-jerk reaction, need to understand something. And it's hard to bucket them in the same area as like someone who says all lives matter, when that's just a distraction, or What about black on black crime? That's also just another distraction. I think that this was an appropriate reaction. If the brand doesn't want to uphold the same vision as your business, you should de-affiliate. Like he said, he is CrossFit. It says, I, CrossFit HQ, blah, 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 in his apology. I think it was an appropriate response. I think all the athletes were right to disassociate with the brand. The amount of traffic on my street is insane. I think it was very appropriate, and all the sponsors pulling their sponsorships. And then here's possibly an unpopular opinion. A lot of people in comments are saying that if you de-affiliate and you disassociate from CrossFit, your business is going to fail somehow. I can't disagree more. It is no longer advantageous to attach CrossFit to your name. And to be honest, it actually hurts a lot of businesses. I've talked to many gym owners, and many of them long ago didn't include CrossFit in their logo and their name because, simply put, people are afraid of that brand, or at least the activities that go on in it, because they see the CrossFit games, they see all these CrossFit mistake videos, which are just compilations of people failing at fitness in general, and then they label it CrossFit. So for a long time, especially when CrossFit became heavily televised and very visible, it wasn't advantageous for gyms to use CrossFit in their name. For the longest time, it was basically just a marketing tool to get people in the door. Now, the methodologies and the way you train your clients is definitely something different than other offerings, but really the only limitation with using CrossFit is the name, and that's always been the case. So you can provide CrossFit courses, you just can't call it that. With that said, right now, as people de-affiliate, they can still provide CrossFit courses. If it's still their passion to provide what originally was created and what has been built over the last, 2020 right now, 14 years, 15 years, like there's nothing stopping them from still providing that awesome service to their client base. They just have to adjust and not call it CrossFit, not market it as CrossFit anymore. At this point in time, we've surpassed the need for that brand. I'm only saying that because of what has happened and what Greg Glassman said and what everyone has done in response. He is so screwed because we don't need the name CrossFit anymore. I think it's definitely good enough now to rely on word of mouth, friends bringing friends in, providing an awesome, inviting, and strong community. Most gyms literally just have to take CrossFit out. And they can honestly just move, if it was in the beginning of the name, they just move to the end of it and they put fit, and whatever the name was, like the gym in town that I was going to for a little bit, their Echelon, CrossFit Echelon. Now they can just either be Echelon or Echelon Fit, Echelon Fitness. Some are even doing strength and conditioning. So yeah, that's it. That's sort of what I wanted to say. I think his brand is just a brand. Technically, it is literally just a name. CrossFit stole all the movements, stole all the different ways to work out, and put it under the umbrella of CrossFit. All these different movements, all these different pieces of equipment have existed. Weightlifting has existed on its own for a very long time. Gymnastics and the monostructural stuff, running, rowing, all of that had existed prior to CrossFit taking it and making it into a methodology. So I still love the methodology and I love what I have learned through the years, but I am not saddened by the fact that Greg Glassman's going down and a lot of people are just going to be changing the way they talk about it, basically. The one thing that's very, very unfortunate, and I must say this, is the seminar staff whose livelihoods are potentially affected by this. If it does tank and they no longer have seminar income, they no longer have affiliate income, and the CrossFit Games tanks, that means the company itself is going to implode, and there's going to be a lot of job loss there too. So I really hope that they can bounce back, especially in a time right now where jobs are not exactly, super prevalent. They're coming back, but so anyways, quick talk about the future of what this channel is. I definitely want to finish out Keto 30. I am definitely going back and forth still and having a lot of thoughts about whether or not my content is worth creating especially on this channel. It's the same sort of discouraging thoughts you get at the very, very beginning. Like when I first started the big chunk of vlogs, I was getting about what I'm getting right now, 20 views at most. Sometimes I was actually even getting 3 views, and I was kind of stoked just to have those 3. It turned into 20, turned into 100. I had Craig shout me out for a challenge, and he just so happened to throw in my YouTube link, which was super awesome. Then I had John from Obese to Beast do the same thing, and both of those sort of brought me up to a different level as far as viewership and subscribers, crew members. And I know that between ending the big chunk of vlogs and now, it's been very spotty. It's been very like confusing as far as what my content is, and I don't really know what the purpose is. Okay, this video is way too long. So Keto 30, I'm gonna finish it out. I think I've said it before. I think one of the biggest things that I need to try to do is create clickable content. That's the buzzword that I use with many, many, many people who ask when they want to do video stuff, is figure out what's searchable. What is in your space that people are looking for. For me, my best videos that perform the greatest are my thruster video, and then workout videos. What were benchmarks? I wonder what's gonna happen to the benchmarks. So I hope to do that more. So tomorrow I'm gonna do start to finish of my breakfast, because I think that's a super tasty, easy thing to do. And then Friday I'm gonna do a keto blood test throughout the day to show you where my markers are at, having done at least the best I can do keto for 5 days. Definitely have had some things that were higher in carb at certain times that I probably shouldn't have, but tested today and it was actually pretty good. I had 0.9, which is like the very cusp of being nutritionally keto, based on the Keto Doc graph. So that's promising or positive. And then Saturday, Sunday, not sure what's going to happen. So, but I'm going to end it here because that's way too much to edit. And I was hoping to do something quick and easy to edit, but that never happens with me. But that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed it. If you're new, join the crew. And if you're not new, tap and go to the like button, leave a comment, share this video. Those are things that help grow the crew. And until the next one, that's tomorrow. I'll see you later, crew.